or existence may resist such a kind of pushing it down your throat, such a kind of influence.
And that's why he behaves that way, the judge.
Yes, to tell it to you the way it is. A yayitz is coming from the exact opposite approach. A yayitz is an individual that sits down and has a conversation with you. Let me hear what's going on. What are you up to? What's your level? What is how are we going to bring you in on you for who you are? What works for you? And he advises you accordingly. A yayitz that just orders you around and is expecting you to obey is not a yayitz. On the other hand, a judge that wants to exchange his position and he becomes this nice guy that's having a conversation with you, he's also making a mistake. You need both. There has to be a shayfet and a yayitz. We learned Parichas, the Rebbe explained it. Okay. Techa steht kivari shayna and by yayitzecha kivatchila. Why does it use two different expressions? So this explanation is simply you can just say, well, the pasuk doesn't want to sound redundant, so it uses a different kind of a word, so it's not going to be repetition. But the word kabarishayna and the word kivatchila are not exactly the same thing. I skipped the paragraph. The unterschied zwischen rishayna and chila is, this is based on what it says in the Gemara. Rishayn de me'ikara mashma. The word risha means before the beginning. Doesn't sound like it, but that's what the Gemara says. Where's the source of this? We're learning it this year in Yeshiva. Psachim. Very good. The pasuk says, Shivas Yomim, 7 days, you're not allowed to have chametz in your house. Then it says, B'yom Rishon tashbisu, that on the first day you should get rid of the chametz. So the Gemara says, what's the first day? Not the first day on Pesach. The first day on Erev Pesach. By Chatzais, on the first day, you have to get rid of it. How do we know? Because the term Rishon means me'ikara. Means before we're starting out. Yeah. So here, kavarishayna means before we're getting started. Okay. Das heißt, dass das ist oder kann sein, koidem as chalasinyan. It means, or it at least could mean, doesn't necessarily mean, but it could mean that it's before we're getting started. Okay. Mashenken tchila bavayis tefaschola sa'inyan b'payal. The word chila means when we're starting a certain process or a certain hemshech of days. So it's already the actual beginning, not a step before the beginning. So chila is basically, is pre. And chila means the beginning of, not pre the beginning, but the beginning of. That's how we're translating it here. Okay, I think let's take a look in Order 31, where the Rebbe clarifies this Taich of Rishon, because it's not exactly so simple. Even in the Gemara there's a whole discussion about it. The Gemara asks questions from different places in Psukim. I'll give you one example. What does Yom Rishon mean? A day before Sukkot? No. It means the first day of Sukkot. So how could you say Rishon means Meikara? The Gemara asks that question. So this...
Because no, Pesach.
Yeah. That what?
That when you start a Korban Pesach,
So that's a different pasuk, but it's the two different psukim. Meaning that's one limud, but the Gemara says even without any of the Korban Pesach, the word Rishon in itself means meikara, pirish, taich. It's a taich thing. So here in Order 31, the Rebbe clarifies this because in the Gemara there's an argument about this. Gam lefia pirish aposhet pirisha. There is a simpler translation of Rishon, Shua Rishon, Shalabal Achris of Yasheni Light. It's the first of what follows, and you begin to count. This is number one, this is number two. It's not. It's actually number one. Alas, we're talking about a number one which stands apart from the number two and the rest that follow. That's when the term of Rishon is used. Okay? For example, even in Hebrew, when you're speaking and you want to say, we're about to begin. How do you say it? Holchim latchil. Haschala means we're beginning something. You don't say the term Rishayna in that case. Rishayn. Rishayn could mean a first, not a pre-first, but it's still a first that is very closely related to the process of the second that follows afterwards. It still stands apart. Tchila means this is the beginning of a whole process where there's one continuation. That means that it's closely connected to what follows after this. Al derech hamavur ba'achiluk, time of the year. Bein aloshen Reish Hashanah or Tchilas Hashanah. So what the Rebbe is saying over here is that the word doesn't really only mean first. The word Rishon is a derivative of Reish. Reish becomes Rishon. Okay, so what is the difference between Rosh Hashanah? Sha'araish ulamayla u'miraymim. Reish is saying that there's a head, and the head is above and removed of the rest of the body. And that's why the head includes all the evarim of the guf. So here, what the Rebbe is proving to you is, regarding Rosh Hashanah, we're not saying that the first day of the year, which is called Rosh Hashanah, is pre the first day of the year. That's Chodesh Elul. Rosh Hashanah is actually the beginning of the year. And not only that, in the mashal of the Reish, the head actually includes in it all of the senses. So it's all already there in that. So you can't say that the head, the Reish, is disconnected of the rest of the body. If the head is disconnected from the rest of the body, there's no life. So on one hand, the Reish means that it's part of one body. On the other hand, you look at a person, the head is very different than the rest of the body. The reason it's in its potential state is because the Reish is a different concept. The Reish is where the main chayas of the person is. The chayas kloli, the way the Alter Rebbe puts it in Tanya and Perik Nun Aleph, the Alter Rebbe says is the chayas kloli, which is in the head, and then there's the chayas prati, which is in each individual limb. Or like the Alter Rebbe says there regarding the Kodesh HaKadoshim, which is the center of life of the entire world, and then you have the individual level of life that there is in every individual place. So the head is not just another limb in the body. The head is the chayas kloli of the whole body. Chayas kloli, is it connected? Yeah, of course, it's kloli of all the details, but it stands apart. So it's a head above. It's above the rest of the body. That's the concept of Rosh Hashanah. Chila is another thing. Chila is when you have one aspect that then leads to another aspect, and it's like a chain. Like we have a chain. The first ring on the chain is not standing out different. One long chain. That's the concept of Schola. So based on this, we can say as das ist der Chilik zwischen Shevtecha kivarishayna und Yetzecha kivatchila. This is the difference between the two expressions.
Okay.
As how Shevtim Yetzim were once before when the Mr. Mikdash was standing, Shayna and kivatchila. There's a fundamental difference between them that you see in the word kivarishayna and tchila. Here in the Ha'ara, the Rebbe brings an interesting thing. 32. Who's the Yiviyare? The Yatzecha is the David the Shloim. Rebbe Bir Agrala Pasik. Who it is? It's interesting that this city was a king. A king is not exactly your typical advisor. Yeah, a king is in a completely different level.
Tilim and Mishlei. Tilim and Mishlei.
Tilim and Mishlei. So you're saying the Tilim, the songs of the Tilim is more of a Yayitz thing, like David HaMelech relating and singing for Nim's Miras Yisrael. Maybe. Okay, it's very interesting. Okay, weiter inside the Sichas, and like this. Vibal doesn't them. When there's a judge that's judging you, what is law? The judge is commanding you as is clear, prepared or not. The Rebbe does Bavara in the parentheses, not that he doesn't take that into account. The fundamental thing about a judge is not necessarily going to judge the same way, even though the inspiration in the level and even sometimes in the fulfillment of the verdict, apply it in real life. There's a whole other step here. Number one, you have to accept that judgment. For a person to apply it, it's not just that he heard He has to deadhead. He has to like really say, okay, this is for real, and I accept this, and I'm ready to apply it. That's a whole new process to accept it. The Farsteter by the Loshen Sheftecha Kivarishayna. The term Kivarishayna means as the Sheftim was a Shiva that the Eivshul returns, and Kivarishayna bedargas Rishayna, which is Lufnei as Cholas Inyan. That's the Shefet coming to you and speaking the truth of Torah. He's the representative of Torah, telling you what it says in Torah, even if on your level you're not ready to accept it. And now we'll begin a whole new process of how you're going to accept this. On the other hand, when it comes to an advisor, so from the beginning, when you're coming to an advisor, a therapist, someone that's here to listen to you and give you advice based on your level, so it all begins with you. He's speaking to you lechatchila on your terms. So whatever the advice is listening to, so he's open and he's being spoken to on his terms. Und die Eitze wird gesagt, haben dich in Sinnen, als sie sollen miskabel werden beim Shemea. The Shefet is not thinking to himself, let me just look into the books and see what the truth it says in the book, and then I'll just give that over. That's not what a Yayitz is supposed to be thinking. If a person's a Yayitz and he has a certain training of what he learned about how to be a good Yayitz, and he just uses the training of the book, that doesn't make a good therapist. So that doesn't make a good advisor. You have to have someone that is sensitive and is able to listen and actually understand the matzav of his client, not just to go by the book. Right now I'm going to say this, now I'm going to say that, and now this is the verdict. It's not a matter of a verdict. It's a matter of understanding the person. It's a whole different story. Right?
It sounds like
what? It sounds like?
Aaron
Akayin, Oyev Shalom v'Reider Shalom. Yeah, I was thinking about that. That's why I was surprised before when the Rebbe said that the Shefet includes Aaron as well. Das heißt, dass der Etzem Inyan von Geben an Eitze beweist, dass es schon da Scholas Inyan. If we're giving advice, that means that we're on the level of applying this. We're on the level of dealing with you and your life as it is in the real world, that the way it's applicable to you. And there is where you're getting this advice. He's open to listen. The Eitze is not if Megala Zayin das in him, and him beweisen wie das Zayin Eitze Tova. Furthermore, the Rebbe here is saying a true advisor is really just telling you what you know. He's bringing you, a true advisor will ask you one question, another question. So what do you think like this? And then he's going to guide you to basically come to that conclusion. He's having a conversation where he's revealing to you that this is really your opinion. A person, the MS, intuitively knows what's good for him. A person has a neshama. I'm talking about a human being, and the same with a yid. Every yid knows intuitively what's good for him because his neshama feels and knows the right thing. LMI, there can be different things that are not allowing him to listen to the voice of his neshama. There's blockages. So the Yayitz is there to have that conversation with you and reveal to you what you really know, to have you express it and realize yourself that this is your own Eitzah. He's not his Eitzah. It's a very powerful point because meaning even when the Yayitz is speaking to you and relating to you, but it's him relating to me. So there's still a him and me, and it's coming from above to below. A real Yayitz means that he's just revealing that it's really you. So then also in time, the application of it is immediate. When a person walks away from a true Yayitz that brings him around to that recognition, he walks through like, oh yeah, so this is what it is. This is what my life is about. He doesn't even feel like he has to fulfill something from someone else. It's immediately applicable. Was sollen umgekehrt werden, wie Moshiach Shiur, seine Kibatchila, which means bedargas chila. Concept of a Yayitz is on the level of chila. When they give advice, their advice is right there, applicable to do it right away. This is one point. Why it uses that direct term, this is your advisor. Zayne Yayitz, deine Yayitzim. While an Anaitze is bad Goshe, as I mean, even though it says that by Shiftech as well, but I was going to explain it. Let's see. While in an Eitze is bad Goshe, as das is deine Azach. It's yours. It's really your good advice, your own intuition that he's helping you understand. Und die Kavane bezeh is, as durch ihr Yetzecha, sollen euch die Shoftim werden Shoftecha l'shenaychach. Only after you have Yetzecha could you then relate to the verdict of the judge and not only see it as, oh, it's the truth of Torah, but it doesn't relate to me. When the Yetzecha explains it to you and brings it to you, so then you go back and you hear the words of the Shoftecha in the same light. I wouldn't say Shoftecha without the Yetzecha. If we would only say Shoftecha, it would just say Shoftim. Hashiva Shoftim Kavarisha. But because it says Yetzecha, so then you go back and you now appreciate what the Shoftecha is saying as well on the same level. As the Yairois Shoftim Velachazana Mitzadatzmam Shaloi Be'erach from them Nishpat, it's on a different level of the person being judged. Zalm Ba'im Niskabel Verem Ba'ifim Pnimi Azevi Kabbalah Seitzes. Now you're ready to accept even that verdict that may have been very hard to accept. It could be something that is big, monumental thing, or a lot of money, whatever it may be, and it was hard to accept. But when the Yetzecha is explaining to you, you agree that this is the best step for you. You agree that this is really the best next step in your life. And then you're taking what the Torah says. Here you have both milas, because on one hand you're taking the pure, unadulterated truth, the way the Shofet is telling it to you, without taking you into account. Because the moment he takes you into account, it gets diluted to some extent. There's a tzimtzum here. So you're getting the full truth. Let's water it down. Let's compromise. Where are you holding? What can you do? What can you do? So let's talk to you on your terms, and you'll do 20%. No, the Yayitz is really 20%, or the level that you're on. He's going to help you appreciate that ultimately to even take the full pure truth. I mean, ultimately, every Yid is shaykh to the full pure truth. Every Yid has a Yechidish of an Neshama that's absolutely pure and doesn't need any tzimtzumim. It could be the Yayitz is to go through a certain process till he's going to appreciate the Shofet, not just appreciating his advice. Was the state, the Parsha Seinu. It should be in all of your gate of the city, and that's where the Bezdin was to sit. It is an opening, it's an entrance to come into the city. When they come appointing judges and even law enforcement in the Zman when adapted to onkom and in a time when it's necessary. So Zayin and Aneifim von Titen Lecha, the emphasis of the word to you on your level and for your sin from the Shvatim vazen mitzad atzmam vazen mitzad atzmam ba'ifin shalav dala. On one hand, the Shoftim, when they judge, they're separated from you. They're not judging. Over here in the parsha, it doesn't say Shoftecha and Sheitrecha. It says Shoftim. When you have a judge, that the application of the police, law enforcement, so now obviously this is something which is not forced me to fulfill the verdict whether I'm ready or not. So it does, but ze on so initially, this is something which is a command. To realize, you open your eyes and say, it's like an entrance. It's you out, forcing you, breaking you. That initial step, if you don't have that obedience at all, it's always about. So then, what's if you won't? You might never. Police, there's law enforcement. There has to be law and order. That you should figure out that this is actually who you are. It's not like Leute in Pirish Bezeh in a what this means in Avodas Hashem as Sharecha Gate Oich Oiv Di Share Eivari Ha'adam. They reflect like Amon Sifid Beis, referring to the expression of a person's body. Was in a Nashar Upsichets the Vision engages with things that are outside of him, whether intake or output. B'chol sharecha darf sein Shoftim v'shoitrim alle seine Worte, Bekeuches, sollen angeführt werden. That is the one that's directing von seinem nefeshel Lekes is the Shoftim. Who's the Shoftim? If a person speaks before he thinks, or to be connected to things that could be distracting. Wait, is this good for me or not? So then that's a connection. Mit welcher lernt Teire? Das heißt, dass ein Limit der Teire, Vairois hat Teire, abkommen und es slavisch werden, and that becomes the guide. He's saying, be very generous about this. If you have a choice to learn a half hour or to learn for 5 hours, learn for 5 hours. The more you use your data, the better judge you have. Would you want to go? You show up in the court and you find out that the judge is an amoritz. How's he asking that I have to pay now $10,000 if it's an amoritz? So if you don't like such a thing, theoretically, if someone comes into a court case, how much more so regarding a person's own behavior in his life? So no one should accept any compromise in the shofit of his brain being an amoritz, that it can guide his behavior in his life on a daily basis in the most informed way, with the most enlightened decisions. So that's the shofit that we have to work on. And all limbs and all of the keiches of a person, all of the gates and the openings of the person's life. In order to make this yours, that's where the law that help you make the process more. Okay, there's our order here, but maybe we'll learn it next week in Mitzvah Shem. Okay. Okay.
So young.
Huh?
I want to feel young. I want to hear Chef Menu.